It's springtime in Niagara, and that means that people are ready to get out of their houses and into the garden. Paul Bongers of Country Basket Garden Center is here to talk about all the changes that people can expect when buying their plants and flowers this year. Paul, why was it so important that customers had access to the garden centers at the beginning part of May and not maybe say June?
Well, it's a short season, Lori, and again, thanks for having me here. It's a very, very short season, and traditionally May has always been it. You have your Mother's Day, which rolls right into the May long weekend, and everyone used to call that the planting weekend. So a lot of people were getting a little bit panicked about whether they were going to be able to find their vegetable plants and their herbs and their flowers that they were looking for. So, it's important that we do get open in May. There's a lot of customers that don't have the ability to do online shopping or that they're comfortable with it. One other thing is a lot of people that buy flowers don't know necessarily what they're going to be buying when they're walking in the doors. We tracked a stat many, many years ago that 85% of customers who walk in the store walk out with something they hadn't planned on buying. So that really tells you that what we kind of do is they see it, they touch it, they buy it.
So you have the restriction of having to only be able to distribute your garden center wares online, but now you just got the green light from the Ontario government that says that you're allowing customers into your building. So how does this provide a challenge for you and your industry partners going forward?
Well, our biggest challenge is going to be, first of all, on how to do it. All of us are used to just popping the doors open, letting people walk in and do and touch and feel. And we've never had to count how many customers came in. The limiting factor kind of for most garden centers was how many parking spots do you have? Mm-hmm. The government has basically said you're going to have to be quite responsible about how you do your opening. So for us, we're going to have to be careful about how we do those types of things, controlling the flow of the traffic. We're not even opening the whole garden center. We're going to keep a back area closed because we still are doing the online business. So we need an area to store that, to pull orders. Quite frankly, there's still going to be a lot of people that are not comfortable with visiting stores or visiting garden centers. So that's why we're going to maintain the online store. I know for a fact of a couple of garden centers, and some of them quite large, that are not going to open. Even though the Premier gave the green light yesterday, they have chosen to stay closed. They have had a consultation with a lot of people in their staff, and they said, until we feel we're completely ready, we're going to keep the doors closed.
So have you had any difficulty even getting stock this year? I know that you have a greenhouse, so you do a lot of growing yourself, but have you had any problems with actually getting stock? So are customers expected to see a limited supply this year?
The problem isn't that there's a limited stock. The problem is getting the stock from the growers to the customers. Like I said before, everything's been so out of whack this year. Our vegetable sales are been crazy busy. So there will be lots of vegetables. The problem is a lot of guys put their greenhouses in sort of a cool mode, not knowing what was going to happen when this all started. So there's not a lot of products super ready for right now. There's no shortage of product in the Niagara region, I can tell you that. There's a lot of growers that are actually still panicked and are setting up roadside stands and basically doing kind of a wholesale to retail model. So the challenge being is how do we get it to the garden center? How do we get it in front of the consumers? And the other thing is to say to the consumers, please be patient, because we know we don't have everything yet, but it's coming. And, it's not a 3 or 4 week season. You had mentioned 7 weeks. We're really trying to extend it through the summer.
Are you finding that you're worried that you're going to have, with limited customers coming in the door, a lot of plants left over this year? Like, are you worried that at the back end of this you're going to have this glut of inventory?
Absolutely. I mean, it was one of the first things we did when this announcement came out was I called a lot of our suppliers. We don't grow everything. I bring in my own nursery. I bring in some perennials. I called all of them and I said, guys, you need to reduce my orders down to either half or a quarter. Because we didn't know where this was going to go. And quite frankly, Lori, we still don't know where this is going to go. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But we'll get through it. If I could just say for a second, I want to thank my staff and the customers for putting up with us and really supporting us through this difficult time. It has been tough, but we have having great customers and a great staff. We couldn't have done it without you people. So thank you.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we kind of fell into the new norm fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you better adapt in this new economy, or you're going to get left behind. So every day we're changing. Every day we're coming up with new plans, and we're just going to try to be better. Like my wife says, we want to be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Paul Bongers, best of luck to you and to your family at the opening day for the Country Basket Garden Center. And thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Laura.